Hey guys, welcome to the eSports Report. Over the weekend, the world's best Call of Duty teams converged on Los Angeles, California to compete in the 2014 Call of Duty Championship presented by Xbox.
That's right. Over 30 teams from every region of the globe met to compete for $1 million. After the dust had settled, the North American powerhouse Complexity stood atop the podium and walked away with 400 grand.
Yeah, not a bad check.
Not bad at all. Now, with the exception of the U.S. regionals, the roster of Aches, Karma, TP, and Crim6 had won every single event in Call of Duty Ghosts that they attended and have clearly cemented themselves as the very best team in the game. Now, Puckett, how did the tournament play out compared to your predictions?
Well, in our bracket show, we drew up a mock bracket, and while our bracket was clearly different than the one we saw at the tournament, 3 of the 4 of us did have Complexity winning the whole thing. Benson went out on a limb and had FaZe winning. The actual event saw them place 6th. The rest of us predicted 5 of the top 8 correctly. TK losing early and TCM and Epsilon failing to make the top 8 were the mistakes that everyone seemed to make.
Yeah, Caliber was a big surprise. All right, well, let's get into what actually happened. The 3-day tournament consisted of 2 parts, group play and a double elimination bracket. Placing top 2 in your group would allow you to advance to the bracket and give you a shot at the $1 million in prizing.
The tournament kicked off with Group A as Strictly Business were the favorites heading into everything, and they set the tone with a dominant 3-0 victory over Team Rise. All 4 members went huge in a 23-2 rout on Warhawk Blitz, and they finished the group with a 9-2 map count. Over in Group B, Complexity were the top dogs. They took their first of 11 straight domination games over the weekend to start the group and finished with a 9-1 map count.
Flag and continuing to exact their dominance. Complexity here, finding another player, and Aces' shots are just not missing at all, Rel.
Oh,
my
wow.
goodness.
Yeah, that was phenomenal play there from Aces. Actually on that 6-point streak now, 14-6. Every single player for Complexity going huge there. And as I said before, what was initially a very close game has gone so Aces!
My goodness.
U.S. dominance continued in Group C as Team Caliber came out with a 9-1 map score. The Canadians of Wild Gaming gave Caliber a bit of a scare with a couple of hot starts, but in the end, TK made a few too many plays and took that series 3-0.
Very precise and accurate shooting there from Gunjar.
Oh, he is shredding.
Oh! Wow! He is on fire. That was 3 kills in that round all by himself, and every single one of them was brilliant.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We picked a good round to start going into the history of Gunjar because he just put on a clinic.
Group D ended the American domination. The Australian team Trident T1 Daughters took down FaZe in an intense 3-2 series. Damage and Chilean came up huge for Trident in the final S&D map in the series.
Yeah, that was probably the most impressive upset we saw early on in group play, but Group E saw a 3-way tie between TEC Intensity, Immunity, and Envious. Of course, Envy lost to Immunity, Immunity lost to TEC, and Envy beat TEC. But the tiebreaker was broken with a round-robin search and destroy between the 3 squads, and Immunity and Envy both defeated TEC Intensity in those crucial matchups to move on.
Now in Group F, Rise Nation managed to squeak by Vitality Rises 3-2 as both advanced from the pool.
You know, that B flag does now fall into the control of Vitality Rises.
Yep, and we pretty much, well, we still have a tie game because it was 1 cap for a while and they just...
Oh, Pac-Man.
Oh, no!
No! Wow!
What? Carnage!
Wow, he's just absolutely ripped Vitality Rises apart. That was a massive knife.
Group G was short 1 team, leaving Optic and Epsilon with only 1 team to beat. Epsilon swept Optic 3-0, demonstrating that teams across the pond are not to be underestimated. Now in the final group, Xfinity came up big on Freight domination to take the higher seed over TCM Gaming.
Veteran play out of Mad Cat right there. As soon as he saw his teammates going for that flag, he knew he didn't need to go there and help them. He went immediately back to the home flag. He's insane right now.
With group play wrapped, the top 16 teams settle in to battle it out in a double elimination bracket. Teams that placed first in their pools earned a higher seed, while teams that finished second would have to face off against more difficult opponents.
Bracket play kicked off with Trident T1 Daughters continuing their upset streak by defeating the French team Vitality Returns. Even more impressive, the following round saw them take down American powerhouse Rise Nation. These 2 victories guaranteed them a spot in the top 8.
Such a shocking win there from Trident T1 Daughters, but the most anticipated match of the first round was the face-off between Optic Gaming, who got second in their group, and TK, who 3-0'd their way to a top 8 seed. Optic finished the series with a surprise 3-0 sweep, hanging on after a tie in the first half of Warhawk Blitz to close it out. Hot off their win over TK, Optic looked to continue their tournament run in the next round against Strictly Business. The series came down to a deciding Game 5 of Search and Destroy, where Optic fell behind 2-1 early on. But Optic was able to turn that back round, winning 5 straight rounds to take it 6-2.
Stop that defuse there. So Scump with a great knife. Embo's making up for it as he takes out Sensor. Saints is the last one. They've got eyes on him.
No need for nade shot.
They'll
They'll close it out without dropping a player. Scumpy fired up as Optic Gaming shuts it down, and there's the hugs between Nade Shot and Clayster. All is forgiven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Optic found themselves up against Trident T1 Daughters in the winter semifinals, and the team couldn't be slowed down as they took the series 3-1. Clayster went big in the first half of domination on Octane, and Scump went huge with a kill streak to close it out in the second half.
While making it happen, well, on the other side of the bracket, Complexity made quick work of TCM in round 1, with Crim6 catching fire in Blitz on Warhawk.
And when you have players like Crim, like Karma, and Aches, and even TP at times on a team, any one of those players can slay like a madman possessed at any time. And that's what makes
Oh my goodness.
But there you go, point proven, right there.
Yeah,
Crimbot
it's
at its best.
Pretty much there. And look at this, pushing in for more. Can he pick up these kills? Oh my goodness.
We're looking like we're in our championship form that you guys have seen us in the past couple of months. We feel really confident right now. TCM's a great team, but we just outclassed them.
The team breezed past Xfinity in winners bracket round 2 to earn a match against FaZe, and things looked good for FaZe in the winners semis when they took game 2 S&D with a convincing 6-1.
Yeah, just close towards that B-bomb site. There's going to be a couple of players there.
Look at that!
Proofy just shuts him down. An 8-1 search from him. Classic 11-6. That is how you play S&D against Cole.
But when the match returned to Octane in Game 4, Complexity sealed that victory and moved on to face Optic in the winners bracket finals.
In that winners bracket finals, Optic and Complexity had a battle for the ages. Surprisingly, Optic took Complexity to Game 5, but Crim6 shut down any hopes Optic had of winning in the closing moments of the match.
He's got it lined up, knows there's a player there. The stun is going to wreck him, though. Nade Shot trying to answer back. He's giving up his position. Scumpy, can he get some eyes on it? It looks like Embos was taken down in the back as Crim is pushing forward. Crim
that's
now with the
6-0.
squad, and that is a 6-0 finish for Complexity. They have defeated Optic Gaming, guaranteeing themselves $200,000 and a spot in the grand finals.
Well, guys, the story of the losers bracket was, of course, the story of Envious. After losing to Strictly Business in the first round of the winners bracket, Envious put on a little clinic on how to play with your back against the wall. The losers bracket started out with a 5-game series against Team Caliber. TK and Envious traded games and were neck and neck heading into the 5th game. Steady's sniping skills swung the momentum in Envious's favor, giving them a 4-0 lead, which the team rode to a 6-1 victory in the final map.
Envious continued their run through the losers bracket in the following round. Just like in round 1, Epsilon pushed Envy to a do-or-die Game 5. Search and Destroy on Freight saw Nameless go huge for the team. His 6-kill streak in the opening rounds of the game gave his squad a 2-0 lead. Envious rolled off that momentum to take the map 6-1.
Tommy going to try to retreat himself. That's going to be Sunny that picks up the kill. Bird closes it out. And Envious in the money now as they're going to be in the top 8.
After 2 close series in their first 2 rounds of losers bracket play, Envious came out on fire against Vex Revenge. The boys in blue cruised to a 3-0 victory behind yet more great play from Nameless.
He's going for another capture here. Finally, we see Envios actually take the lead. Nameless is on fire, picking up kill after kill.
Huge
and another
plays,
with
man.
the capture. 10-point streak for Nameless.
The next 2 rounds saw Envy eliminate the Australian team Trident T1 Daughters and the U.S. regional champion Strictly Business. Now only Optic stood between them and a shot at Complexity and the $400,000 first place prize.
It was an epic battle with Optic. Optic Gaming opened the series with fantastic play out of Scump to put Envy to an early 0-1 disadvantage. But after a 1v3 clutch to save a failing S&D round, Nameless and Envy turned their series around and tore down the green wall to keep their shot at first place alive.
This could be a second 1v3.
He finds it. He knows that he's going to be there. So at the very least, he's going to have his eye on the prize.
Go for the ninja. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it, Nameless. Do it.
No.
Do it,
That would have been
Nameless.
too risky.
Do it, Nameless. Just do it.
You are such a reckless player,
I
man.
am.
But Nameless is going to check and he wins it. And now 1v1. Nate shot. Nameless. Pressure's on here. This is it. 6-3 could be the score if Envy pulls this one on top.
Nameless
He's going to find
get
Nate
it.
to the side. And
Gets
Nameless
it.
clutches
1v3.
it. What a play out of Nameless.
Going into the grand finals, Complexity had not dropped a domination game type, and they kept their impeccable record alive on Strike Zone by edging out Envy in both halves to take game 1, 163 to 139. Envy kept it close in game 2, but Complexity's composure in dealing with the flank led to a round 11 victory on Freight Search and Destroy. With the series lead 2-0, Complexity looked to be in good position to close out the tournament on arguably their best game mode, Blitz. The stage was set on Warhawk, and a solid first round lead transitioned to an 8-2 victory and the championship for Complexity.
Ultimately, Complexity is going to be able to pull it out, and they are going to be crowned your 2014 World Champion winners here.
For their win, Complexity walks away with $400,000. Envy earns $200,000 for second place. All right, now Puckett, since you were there casting all the action, what are your thoughts on Complexity's performance this year?
Man, Complexity has been looking like the team to beat. Currently, I have all 4 of them in my top 10 players list. Everyone on this squad can do every role needed to win. They can do the objective, they can slay, they can lock down entire portions of the map. The gun skill is on point for this squad, and right now, they are the juggernauts in Call of Duty. They've been to 11 tournaments, and they've been to the finals 11 times, winning 9 of them, including now their first World Championship.
That's crazy. And who are your favorite players?
Favorite players? You know, you gotta give love to TP. He's the best objective player in the game. When they needed him to slay, he turned it on better than Aches, better than Crim6. I think he is one of the most underrated guys in the game right now, and arguably the best.
What's up, guys? It's time for our first top 5 plays from the Call of Duty Championship presented by the Call of Duty Ghost Devastation DLC. Here we go, kicking things off. It's Rambo picking up 3 kills in Search and Destroy versus Immunity.
It's a Bulldog shot, but whoever that is, for Immunity has 3 envious players.
Look at the flank. Look at the flank. Look at the flank, unless he gets picked off, and he's not. So that is going to be a bad position there as Rampage is able to take out Study. Challenger on the side as Rambo managed to take out Buzzo. Now, it will be a 1v2 on board with Rampage, and he does get the wallbang through the corner. Oh, and it's not going to happen as Envy manages to establish that lead. He did. He really did.
Moving on now to number 4, Buzzo in that same game closes things out with a 1-on-3 against Envy to secure the win.
It's going to be a 1v3. This is the opportunity.
That's one
kill. Now it's going to be
the
1v2. Check the bomb.
There's the second
of him. Oh my
Buzzo!
goodness. 14 seconds left on the clock. Can he do this? Is this the opportunity
done it.
Australia wanted? They
He's
did
on
it.
the bomb.
They
Buzzo's
did
done it.
He's by the bomb.
Buzzo's
Right
done it.
now.
1 versus 3. Oh my God.
Team Envy Benson. Can you believe it?
What have
is
we
going
just seen? Buzzo, amazing
Woo.
1 versus 3. Your play to watch in the series. Absolutely surreal play.
Our number 3 play this week goes to the entire squad from Envy as they hold strictly business, putting them in the donut shop.
Because your Nameless picks up another kill, and that is just going to continue his tear from that first domination. Like that was just a relatively quick and easy win.
Just hanging around this area still. That bomb has actually just, it's going to be 2-0 now.
4v2 for Envy.
I mean, I don't know what's going on here for Strictly Business. They're just falling apart. Envy are all over them.
They are just dropping like flies, and just like that, what is happening? But another 4v2, I feel like I've said that every round now. And
oh,
again,
my goodness.
Envy is just on fire.
Well,
this is just looking like it is all Envy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a complete annihilation. There's no other way to put it. Center does go down. Aberdeen goes down.
What is going on?
Oh, my goodness. And Dido, the last alive. Look at that combined kill-death ratio for Strictly Business.
And he's weak. Is he going to be able to pick up a kill? No, he doesn't get the kill there. If they were playing golf, this might be a better score, but unfortunately, we are currently in S&D. But Saints last alive against Nameless and Rambo here. If he's not able to win this 1v2, we're going to go 2-0 in this series for Envy into Game 3, and that is it.
At number 2, it's TP going off against Optic Gaming.
A veteran turning it on.
Oh, TP just got a disgusting kill there on Clayster on the B flag. They're going to secure it.
Look at this, man. 14-4. I'm just looking at this mini-map as TP is now going to have 3 more players pushing. He has phenomenal coverage.
TP!
Aches and TP locking down this left side.
And the number 1 play this week, you asked for it, is the 1v3 clutch against Epsilon eSports from Nameless.
Just got the kill on Merc. Now it's going to be Nameless 1 versus 3.
Oh,
That's 2 kills.
Nameless.
1 versus 1, it's 20. Nameless has just seen him. Can he get the kill? Pulls out the assault rifle. Nameless is going to go huge. Team MVS got the 1v3.
Hope you guys enjoyed this top 5. Make sure to go pick up your Call of Duty Ghost Devastation DLC.
With the Call of Duty scene stronger than it's ever been, this year's Call of Duty Championship saw some players achieve amazing milestones. First off, Merc and Nadeshot have now finished top 3 at all $3 million tournaments dating back to the Modern Warfare 3 Call of Duty XP. The two finished first at COD XP in 2011 and placed third last year for Black Ops 2.
After moving to the coaching position earlier this year, Rambo's comeback to the active roster has yielded some impressive results. He's now finished in 2nd place at back-to-back COD champs.
Complexity has had one hell of a year. With the exception of the US Regional Championship, they have won every tournament for Call of Duty Ghosts that they've attended. However, the duo of Aches and TP have an even more impressive record. The two of them have won 14 major tournaments and have now been teaming together for almost 3 years, the longest amount of time any two players in Call of Duty have played together.
And finally, while Rambo's back-to-back 2nd place finishes may be enviable, they pale compared to Karma's back-to-back victories. Last year, Karma won COD champs as a member of Farico Impact. This year, he won as a member of Complexity. Between these 2 tournaments alone, he has taken home more than $200,000, with his total winnings estimated to be almost $300,000. He's now won more money from Call of Duty tournaments than any other player. All right, so now that we've gone over some individual players, Puckett, who were the teams that impressed you this past weekend?
Wow, so many teams look great this weekend, but you gotta give a special shout out to the Canadian squad, Vex Revenge. They were only one of 2 teams to finish in the top 8 that were not American. They beat Xfinity Gaming to get into that top 8, and they scored $25,000. Now, the next squad we got to give a shout out to is the squad I watched win the ANZ Championships. That's the Trident T1 Daughters. They started off the weekend hot, winning their group play by defeating FaZe in an incredible upset, and they went on to finish in the top 6 after losing to Optic Gaming in the upper bracket and struggling in the lower bracket. They were the top placing team outside of the US and banked $70,000 for their performance. The third squad on my shout-out list is Optic Gaming. They played the best I've seen them in the last year and improved upon all of their previous placings since the Call of Duty Championships for Black Ops 2. This is their back-to-back 3rd place finish, and for their efforts, they banked $120,000. They overcame every roster issue they faced this year and truly showed that the squad of Embos, Nadeshot, Clayster, and Sculpey can compete for a world title. Another American squad we need to show some love to is Envious. After losing in the winner's bracket round 1, they went on to win 6 lower bracket matches to finish 2nd place. The team consisted of players that were booted or dropped from other squads, and throughout this year, they had their best players on the roster or their star players on the roster stolen from them. I loved what Merc and Rambo did at this championship. Rambo, he came back from the coach position to the starting lineup and led that squad to his 2nd back-to-back 2nd place finishing at the World Championships. And for their effort, they banked $200,000. Finally, the number 1 team on this list, of course, it's Complexity. All 4 members of this squad had great individual performance throughout the weekend. They didn't let their first major loss at the US Championship affect them at all, and in fact, I think it made them stronger. Complexity didn't drop a single series this weekend, and every time their back was against the wall in game number 5, they came out swinging. They proved that the acquisition of Karma was indeed a great decision, and for their efforts, Complexity were crowned the world champions and banked $400,000 this weekend.
Absolutely. Complexity was on fire.
Yes, they were.
But what about the 4th place team, our U.S. champs, Strictly Business? What did you think of their performance?
You know, this is kind of exactly what I expected to see out of Strictly Business. They shocked everyone at the U.S. Championships, but then their gameplay became public. They were playing against Optic Gaming in a LAN. I think they actually made Optic much better at that LAN, and they, in fact, improved themselves. But I didn't expect SB to finish in the top 3. I think they finished just around where they should have in that 4th place spot. SB, they still need to learn how to bounce back when they're in the lower bracket. When they're in the winner's bracket, they cruise. But as soon as they have a loss, I think it starts to get to them mentally. They all kind of struggled, and we're definitely not the same squad that we saw winning the U.S. Championship.
Well, also looking forward to more great play from them. And finally, before we close out the show, we want to take a look at the stats provided by Cod Stats to create a list of our top 5 individual players based on the numbers. Now, bear in mind, our list was weighted by team performance, so if your team placed well, then you were more likely to make it.
All right, let's kick it off at the number 5 spot. We have Proofy from FaZe. Now, he made it into the top 15 on 3 different leaderboards and helped his team in both objectives and slaying. FaZe's 6th place finish was in large part due to the show from Proofy that he put on with the Remington at Call of Duty Championships.
Clayster was arguably one of the standout players at this event. His role as Slayer on Optic allowed him to finish top 10 on the 3 different slaying leaderboards. He also finished 34th on the domination leaderboard, showing that he's capable of seizing objective opportunities when they're presented to him.
Strictly Business finished 4th at the event, but Saints comes in at our number 3 spot on this list. He was top 25 on all 5 leaderboards, and his team won 78% of all their matches. He is the only player on this list who finished in the top 10 in both an objective and a slaying leaderboard, showing that he excels in all aspects of the game.
Now let's talk about Aches. He was on another level this weekend. Complexity stormed through COD Champs without dropping a single game, and the only way to do that is to have your whole team on fire and then some. Aches finished 2nd on the overall kills and deaths leaderboard and a little lower on the other 2. To put it simply, his kills translated into victories.
Finally, our number 1 player from the event was Crim6. The Crim bot was amazing this week, and he's the only player here who placed in the top 10 on 3 separate leaderboards. He finished 1st on the overall KD leaderboard, 10th on the Slayer leaderboard, and 5th on the S&D KD list. If you had to pick one player from Complexity that they call their foundation, that player would have to be Crim6 at COD Champs.
All right, now, of course, some of our fans might disagree with our producer's list, so Puckett, who else was close to making the cut?
You know, I have no idea how the producers left off the boys from the UK. Mad Cat was an absolute monster for TCM, despite the rest of his teammates not putting up the kills they needed. We saw phenomenal games out of Swanee, especially early on in the tournament from Epsilon, and Jerd was a monster. He finished 1st on 2 different leaderboards, but Epsilon finished outside the top 8 due to the difficulty of their opponents. Now, I also want to give a special shout out to Nameless. Nameless was so clutch for his team throughout this event. In all of the rounds of S&D that they needed him to go big, he was an absolute monster. I saw on Twitter that he had at least 3 different 1-on-3 clutches. He was probably the most clutch player, I could say, that weekend.
Yeah, he was so good to watch. Well, that about wraps up our recap of the COD Championship. Guys, make sure to tune in on April 11th, where we're going to see the MLG Season 1 COD League playoffs. The top 6 teams from our league play will come together to battle it out for $15,000 in prizing at PAX East.
That's right, all of those online matches coming down to a LAN finals. 6 amazing teams. We're going to see Curse Las Vegas, Strictly Business, FaZe, Team Caliber, and of course, Complexity and Envy. I know a lot of people out there are hoping for that rematch. But finally, guys, we should give a big shout out to one of my favorite people in the world. This is Desi's last show with us. She will continue to be a member of our community, but will be transitioning to other projects. Make sure you're following her on Twitter if you aren't already to keep up with all of her latest endeavors.
Puckett, thank you so much. Everyone, it has been such a pleasure becoming part of your community. I love just diving into the world of esports and the Call of Duty scene and getting to know so many amazing people. So thank you all so much, you guys at MLG and you guys at home, for welcoming me into the scene. So for the last time from me and everyone here at MLG, Thank you for watching.
We'll miss you, Desi.